So we're going to start with some of the basics with creating length in the spine. Let me just test this and say, yeah, this is a good height. So the swing is going to go underneath your armpits. You're going to just widen your knees so your hands can kind of press out a little bit. And then you're going to lift your heart. So you don't necessarily have to lift your head, just your heart, right? And then just do a little bit of a twisting from side to side here. We're going to make that movement a little bit bigger and going into some side lunges as well. This is like a sumo pose. So we're just going to start out with a basic squat. Okay? So do that, and I'll be right here doing something similar.
Okay.
Just gonna follow you along.
Okay.
Awesome. So
Like
squatting
this?
down. Good. And now see if you can lift your heart. Press into your knees. So pressing your knees away from one another with your hands. And then just lift and feel your heart lengthening up as your sit bones drop down. And just like I like to give a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a twist back and forth. Yeah, there you go. So you can feel how the spine is starting to traction out of the pelvis. Creating some space there.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what you want to do is just start to make the twist a little bit bigger. So almost straightening one leg, twisting to the other side. So when you find that sweet spot, like if you get into like that, ooh, that feels really good, that's opening it up, just stay there a little bit longer.
Kind of like uncomfortable under here. So is there something I can do? To
Usually just lean back. Just lean back a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the whole idea of keeping the shoulders down, the heart open.
Oh yeah.
And you're in like a slight back bend. So it's holding you up, instead of by your underarms, it's holding you up by your heart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really good. And then make the lunges a little bit bigger. So come into one side where you're lifting the toes. Yes. Dropping the hips so you really feel that opening in the inner groin as well. Good. Yeah. Anytime you want to press back, you can press back and open up the heart to take pressure off the arms, and then you can feel you get a little bit more.
Yeah, I can feel kind of moments where I feel the traction and then it kind of grips up again. Oh.
Yeah, you get used to that. So when you're ready, bring both feet to center. You know what, if you turn around and look at me, like if you turn around in the swing so we're facing each other, it would probably be easier on your neck.
Right.
So let's do that. So good. So now you're just going to press back, feet together, and then come into a back bend here. Really gentle back bend. Feel the undulation in the hips and see where you can find like the sweet spot. So press your hips all the way up. See how that feels, and then drop your hips just slightly, keeping the feet where they are. Just going to notice the difference in the back bend. Let your upper body be fully supported by the swing.
Feels like it's gonna slip down my back. I wonder if I'm not.
It's going to stay.
Okay, maybe it's just me.
And if it slips, it's okay. Yeah, just lean back some. Yeah, so let it be a little bit higher up to
On my
start.
back.
Yeah, and then once you lean back, it'll come right into the tips of the scapula. So the first part is here, when you're here, lean back. So drop your hips, lean back, there you go.
So like this.
Yeah, so then it's in position, right? Then you just lift your arms up. Yeah, there you go. See the difference? Well, the swing is going to be a little bit more cooperative.
Yeah.
Good. So there's two positions that we can do here. This is one with the arms up overhead. The second one is with your hands clasped behind your neck and the elbows out, so you're fully supporting your neck if your neck feels like it's too much.
Yeah.
And now twist a little bit from side to side. Start to just open up the side body. See if you can get into that spot that's feeling a little stuck, but gently move into it. You don't have to go too deep into it to begin.
Yeah, I can barely do feet. It doesn't feel painful or anything.
So when we get our feet underneath us, we're going to start out like in a squatting position. And then you're just going to basically lean forward. So go that way forward. There you go. There you go. And then we're coming into airplane. So now we're doing that kind of peppermint patty get the sensation where you're in a V. So you're leaning all the way forward, right? Then you can drop your hips back and hook with your elbows.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're coming into a forward fold. And we just kind of walk the feet out a little bit. Just kind of one knee and then the other. And let's do that again. We're going to stay where we are. We're just pressing forward as far as you can. There you go. Stretch open the heart. Really good. Nice. And then slowly drop the upper body down. Push your hips back. And walk out again. So like really, yeah, really hanging and let your weight be in the swing. And then just pigeon toe your feet apart so you're coming into a wide straddle. Upper body stays the same. And then just see if you can find this rotation that happens. Just kind of look over it. Yep. Switch shoulder. That's great. Leading into the hips. We're just going to focus all on the hips today. I wanted to do some strengthening with you, but we'll do it another time. Relax. Hold close attention. Thanks. And then all we're going to do is bend our knees and sit back. Come back to where we were. Okay? Yeah. So the next little jaunt, I'm going to show you in this swing, even though there's not a whole lot of space to work. I'm just going to basically hook my ankles. This. Okay? So I'm going to do the same thing. So hook your ankles. I'm going to mainly just show you in one direction. This is going to start to undulate back and forth. So hook your ankles, yeah. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to drop your hips and you're going to pull that leg loop. So always keep your arms wrapped around the outside. And reach for the leg loop and pull that leg.
Like this?
Yeah. Drop your knee and pull the foot. Yeah, that's where you really feel that in the outer hip piriformis area. It's great. So good. Yeah. And you can pretty much just let gravity do the work, and you're pulling in, but it's more like the down that's happening. That's really opening it up. And the more you drop your knee, the bigger the stretch, yeah. And you basically get this whole side body action happening too.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
So let's switch.
I really want.
Good. Let's switch sides. We'll come back to that one, but we might as well, since we're mirroring each other, stay in sync. Cool. And just notice the difference between the two sides. See if you can get this knee to come down a little bit more to get into that side body, because like all of that fascia that's basically happening there is what's causing the hold up in the low back. And this is true for all beings.
So it's something that's happening in the hip?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the back.
The SI joint.
Yeah, okay.
And all those attachments. So yeah, just really let the hips drop down. And then let's try that again. Let's go the other way. So dropping both hips straight down, pulling the foot in. You can also lift this hip like this and come into the side body, but lengthen both sides of the hips. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, square your hips. Feel the difference?
Yeah, kind of. It's like less of a stretch when I swear.
Okay. Oh, really?
If I
just pull your knee down with your hips square. Yeah.
I think it's way more of a stretch. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like tighter in there. That's what it is. I can feel it now.
Yeah. So usually what we do, instead of just pulling the hip down, pulling the knee down, we rotate the whole hip. So we're isolating that joint to really get into the connective tissue. One more time, switch sides. Really good.
I know.
Yeah, and just notice, like, I could pull my knee down a lot if I lift my hip. But what happens if I square my hip and then pull my knee down? So it's just a different stretch. So it's kind of getting into those details. Really good. And then just see how much you can relax and let gravity do the work. And of course, at the same time, we're kind of like rising up so the shoulders come down. Yeah, there you go. Just keeping that right open. The last one we're going to do is Backbend. So both feet together. First one is just press your knees down. Again, lift your heart if you're feeling a little circulation thing. So open the knees as much as possible. And then we're going to reach up as high as we can. Grab me for the leg loops. Always keep your arms on the outside. Leg loops are here. Bring your legs out.
This.
So press your feet together a lot and just lift your hips.
Mm-hmm.
It's called flying monkey. Let the hips rise. So the hips back up and opens. And then the last part is you're going to straighten the legs, holding onto the leg loops to straighten the legs. Kind of dip a little bit forward as if you're coming into a forward fold. Heart towards knees. Nice. And then the last one you can do is a wide straddle, so just bring your hips up wide, wide, wide. Nice. Really good. Awesome. So let's take a little break from those ones. Come to standing for a second and just kind of shake out the legs, shake out the arms, and see how that's feeling. Giving feedback on what you're noticing in the body.
Okay. Yeah, the side feels better. I can still feel it.
Sure.
Like this, but it feels definitely more open. So
So good.
yeah.
Let me see if I can actually do an inversion or if this needs to be higher. It seems like I just have here. That's fine. These things you change are different. Let's do this. I was like, what is that? Oh, it's easy chain. I'll use these ones. Great. Okay, so now we're going to come into what I call the Chillaxin poses. And so, again, it's like some of these are the yoga translations and some of them are their own entities. So instead of hooking at the feet, we're going to hook at the knees. We're just basically hanging from the knees. Awesome. So the first thing I like to do is just twist a little bit from side to side, explore the space, letting your body have that feeling of leverage and lift. I feel great.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep like forgetting to hang, you know, to let the thing just.
Oh yeah, hold you.
Yeah.
That'll hang time. The body will chillax more. Great. So there's a few different poses we can do here. There's one that I normally do at the ankles, but we could do here, but instead it's called namaste. So bring our hands to prayer in front, and then we just lean back and open. Nice and really hot down, so you have my light forearms, basically. And then from here, what you can do is you can just make sure the swing's in a good spot, just open into a 5-pointed star. So your hips are slightly dropped down. So you're just kind of like opening everything up. Nice. And then the last part I call ladle. So I basically keep the legs together and let the swing come into the waist, and then I have my arms on the ground, palms facing down. Just make sure your lower back is happy.
Yeah.
This one.
This one might be a little extreme. Let me see.
Just kind of preparing for backbend. Can you bring your hands to the ground?
Feels kind of, I'm just nervous to do that because of my back thing.
Yeah, the swing should be supporting it, but if it doesn't, don't do it. But the idea is we're moving into a backbend. Backbend, which is bending your knees and bending your feet. If you don't want to do that one, it's totally cool.
This one actually feels more comfortable than the other one.
So the swing should basically be supporting that spot at your hip.
Yeah.
And allowing you to open your heart. Good. See if you can squeeze the knees just a little closer together. So they're in alignment. Really good. So when we come up, there's like a whole sequence that we do. Basically, we come here into child's pose. Start here. We open up into 5-pointed star. Bring it into namaste. And then namaste turns into ladle. Arms go overhead, so just modify that. And then it comes into a back bend. So one pose flows into the next sequence. And then we come back up into Chillax. So make sure this feels good on your lower back too, if you ever just want to like hang here. It's like kind of like a floating child's pose where you're pulling your knees in slightly and you're just letting your hips drop. It lengthens out from the sacrum and lower back. And then the same with just what I call Chillaxin. You're just like letting the swing go back and forth a little bit. Swing and the swing. Good. There's one more pose that's really great for opening up the heart. And like I said, when your back's feeling better, we'll focus on all those engagement principles I was talking about. So you pretend like you're coming into namaste, so hands come together at the heart. Right? You press the leg loops away, and you come into skydiver. Come together. Bend the elbows. Yep.
Like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
then
so cool.
yeah. So if you drop into your elbow creases, this is called flying butterfly. So feet together. And then I usually just undulate the knees like a little butterfly would. Back and forth. And at the same time, you're really engaging the arms to keep the heart open. So that's how you get kind of the strengthening and the stretching at the same time. You start to feel
So great.
feels so good. And then just bank a little bit from side to side as well. Yep, exactly. Nice. And you'll start to feel like the blood in your hands and your fingers. That's when we just know it's And then we just reverse. So we basically sit our hips back, come forward, go back again, and we're back in Chillaxin. So I do, like I call this one the hammock pose whenever I have my hands clasped behind my head and I start to just totally like drop in. The sunny beach morning. And you can see why I always bring this with me when I'm traveling. So great. All right, let's go over that sequence one more time. Okay. All right, let's start out in child's pose. Just pull hands towards our forehead. Relax. We're going to open up into five-pointed star. Nice. Turn that into namaste. And then we drop into the middle. So we'll just come into the back, into the head. And whenever you need a little bit of an adjustment, you can just wiggle the swing into like the sweet spot. So like one spot that feels good, and then the others. Good. Stay, come forward into skydiver.
Oh yeah.
This way.
This way. This way.
Yeah. Nice. Over the elbows, feet together. Elbows forward like this.
Like this.
This way. Yes.
I'm gonna turn around.
Yeah. So elbows
Like this, right? No.
so
Like
hands
this.
together in front of the heart. Press. Open.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then elbows come forward. Hands come forward. Lean forward.
Oh.
Yes. I know. It's a little, the brain's like, it's a good sign. Brain gets confused. So now you're going to let the whole body relax, but you're holding on with your forearms. Big opening in the front of the body. Just make sure your hips are happy in this spot too. I usually do these gentle little undulations with the knees. That opens up the whole groin hip flexor area. So I'm going to give you a little break. Just grab a little water. I'm going to demonstrate how to do the Vinyasa Flow,
Okay.
which is really, really good on the back.
Cool.
So just take a small break to reset the body.
thirsty, but I think I'll wait for the water.
You
so
sure?
I can get, you know.
I'll drink a little bit of water if you need, because it's.
I'll drink a little. Because in yoga, whenever I drink water, I get
You get
nauseous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. So one of the things we didn't do, and I'll just go over this, face this way, it's fine. One of the things we didn't finish with is the dancing Shivas. Just stretch it out. So after we're here, we can basically come into some splits like this where you press them apart, which takes a little more strength. But more than that, it's more interesting to come into some lunge poses. Now, if you can't do this with your back leg, you can always just let this come up and ground at a foot and do some lunges like this. And I'll let you try this and then we'll do some inversions. So either twist, grab the foot, pull this one in. You can also do a much bigger stretch. Reach for the toes. It's a big hamstring stretch. Or you just let it come up closer to the groin. Pull that one away. Some like arrow poses. This is really good for the hips as well. So usually I go back and forth a few times in the dancing Shivas.
Totally.
I'm just going to get that rotation in the hip. So that was one of the things that I was working on with Erwan that you can try as well. We'll switch back to the feet for a second. Is getting those rotations, getting the full rotation in the ball and socket.
Yeah.
That actually helps lubricate the whole joint. In the long run, makes the body much happier.
Yeah.
So we'll play with that too before we move on to the inversion. See if you can get that rotation. It's just a big stretch in the quad. So all these kind of fall into the dancing Shiva category. Just kind of playing the twists. And then you're fully supported in the swing too, but you can also let your body hang. So let's try that before we move on.
Okay.
I'll watch you kind of work with the rotation, because sometimes what we do is we're so used to the linear movements, we don't get into the full hip rotation, we kind of skip it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay.
So let's start with it at the knees, so just lean back and put these on your knees. So try the first one where you're basically going to hold on to each leg loop and press straight out. Yeah, it is intense.
Yeah.
You can actually sit up, sit more forward, so you're actually like fully suspended and straighten your arms out. Yeah. Sit more forward.
Like bring my.
Like you're doing splits. Yeah. There you go. You're like, ah. It's a lot of strength to actually like sit straight up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like back strength, isn't it? Or I can't really tell what the strength
Yeah,
is,
it's
but I don't
arms.
really have it.
Yeah, there you go. There's the position.
Okay, but then my arms would be straight.
Yes.
I'll get there.
Yeah, that's why I said don't worry about that one right now. We're not working with strength so much today. So you can let go of the leg loops, and basically you're going to start doing some dancing Shiva. So you're holding on there, yeah, and you're just bending and twisting to one side. Yes. Really good. And then twisting to the other side. I think I can actually do them with you. I was just kind of concerned about the leg and the wall distance. Let's do it.
So am I like relaxing back being here while I'm doing them?
Actually, hold on to the leg loops again. That's what I figured it would be good. So that way you can actually press and twist at the same time. Yeah. Sit up into the swing because you're getting that big groin stretch. Yeah. So I have this one leg tucked and this one bent. It's almost like it's coming out. Yes, there it is. That's the dancing Shiva. That makes it great. That's it. Okay, let's go the other way. So yeah. So we're using our arms to kind of press that one way.
It's like coordination or something. Okay.
What is it? So this one is. So mimic me. So we're going in the same direction. Yeah, there we go. This back arm is straight.
Oh,
That's what it is.
The back arm is straight.
That's what it is. There it is. Good. So let's go. We'll go towards you. So we're going to bend the front knee and press the back arm straight. There it is. Yeah.
Feels so good.
It feels so good. I know it's a little wonky, but it definitely feels good. Now let's try that with, we're doing the same dancing Shivas. It's almost like under the Virasana. That's what we're moving into. So move the leg loops to the arch of the feet. We're really just doing major focus on the hips today. Let's just first do the Backbend and rock a little from side to side. Your hands are up closer to your hip flexors now. You kind of press that one hip down so you can create a little bit more space in there. Nice. Like micro movements to get those hips open. And that should feel good on your low back. That should feel like space is happening. It's like the opposite of the compression from great. You guys will just hang 2 yoga swings and sit in them while you guys teach learn to sit in them. You're like, what?
That would be amazing.
That's what we do. I know, right?
Yeah.
So let's hold on to the leg loops again. Let's work with this rotation. Let's just work, let's do the same side, or mimic me.
Okay.
So rotating down, yes. Yeah, big one. So knees almost pointing down to the ground, that's great. And then the other hip is opening. That's great. Now be really careful when you move through. You're like going to keep the foot flexed.
Yeah.
So the knee feels good.
Yeah.
And let's just switch. Pinch it over style here. Nice. And this is not so much engagement as we're just getting into the deep rotation and stretching. Feels so good. Let's go back the other way. We'll do it twice. So it's happy. Now the last step of this is to come up, so you're kneeling into the swing, and then the other knee stays down.
Like this?
Yes. Big quad stretch.
Yeah.
Keep the body in one straight line, so keep your torso up. You'll really feel that in the quad. Come back nice and slow to center. Switch sides. So we're not going to stand quite yet. Just going to let that drop. Second side. Good. You keep the knee down. Yep, then stand up for this one. Keep that knee straight up and down. Torso straight up and down. Yep. You'll see where the body's trying to get out of it. Maybe like leaning somewhere.
Yeah.
That's great. And like I said, these will help a lot because we want to get into the full rotation of the hips. And then just come back to one last Backbend here. So good. Let's see. I think I'm going to show you the inverted Backbend. So we did flying monkey. When you reach up and you grab here. So now we sit up into our feet. I thread my hands through so my elbows are hooked in the swing. And now I'm hanging by my hip creases. This is like amazing for all this to open up. Let me reverse so I can show you. Here we go. Okay. So we're here. Sit up. Hands spread through. So it's like the namaste. Yes. Both sides. Good job. You do it. Stay in there. Stay in the swing. And then lean forward so you're hanging with your elbows. Yep. Just good. Keep the feet together, knees wide. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you can let go of the swing. I swear. Okay. Because you're not that far. And then let your body hang from your hips. Keep the feet together, knees wide. It'll be intense on the hips, but it should feel good on the low back. So we're breaking up all of that fascia. Yeah. And this is the kind of pose you can just stay in for 3 to 5 minutes. One last version I like to do is I take my hands and I press them into my thighs and I basically lengthen my arms and let some extra stretch.
So good.
Isn't that great?
That is so good.
Amazing. Super hard. It's like you just cannot get this stretch in yoga, I'm sorry.
No.
So cool. So now to get out of it, we're gonna simply reverse today. There's a flip you can do, but we're not doing the dynamic movement. So you just reach up, grab for the swing, bring yourself up, and put that behind your back. Reach up with one hand and bring it forward.
Like, at, I can't do it.
Remember, just keep reaching for the leg loops then with your hands. Keep going.
Like this?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Yeah, there you go. You did it. And then get that swing behind you so you can straighten. Let's just get the Chillaxin pose going for a minute. Do great. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an advanced move for sure. I know. You're going to feel it everywhere.
Great. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. It's like, oh, I didn't even know I had muscles there. Okay. So I want to show you how to do some of the flips. And I'll just show you from here and modify with the wall. It'll be pretty easy to do. So the swing comes to the low back, like we did in the back bends. And then I'm just going to simply bring my legs up over my head. You can wrap the legs around, or you can keep them kind of hanging in the leg loops. It doesn't matter. But you said you were doing the inversion, so this is okay? Okay, so come here.
So move this to my back.
Yep, you just lean back and go into your waist. And then just bring your legs up, out and around. So wrap them around so they're in front of the swing now.
Like, no. Do I keep my legs in these?
Yeah, it's okay to keep them in there. Just one leg at a time and wrap them around the swing.
Oh, like.
Okay, yeah, just go for that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah, just let your upper body come down and then your legs will be light.
I don't know why it's not working.
It's okay. You're just making it a little bit harder than it needs to be. Just wrap your legs around one at a time.
There we go.
No problem.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here, and this feels like it's in the sweet spot. It feels like your lower back is happy because I usually just spread it out a little.
Yeah, that's good.
It's helpful if you have somebody there.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So in this pose, you're going to turn around and hold the same position, same way you are. Okay. So your legs are still in the leg loops, which doesn't really matter too much, but we're just keeping them there for fun. So in this pose, one of the things I like to do is I like to walk myself back into an arched position.
Like this?
Exactly. So yoga mat doesn't necessarily help, but it's there. So then I get to twist a little bit from side to side. Again, I'm getting more length in the side body. It's like when I'm looking forward. Yeah, exactly. You're doing great. Just do this. And there's a few fun things that we can do here. Well, one thing I do is I actually come into like practice handstands, but just keep my legs kind of level with my hips, so L shape with the body. And then I press back, kind of open up the shoulders, right? And then come up and just do a little bit of a pike, they call it. So you want to bring your legs out? So straight down like an L. L is like, yeah, level with the hips. Keep going, down, down, down. Yes, okay, good. And then press back. And then forward. So come into an L shape. Yep. So you can use your core here and kind of lift up a little bit. You feel that?
Yeah, I think it's like, I feel like the thing is gonna suddenly slip into my groin, like in a really sensitive part of my thighs. So it's hard to make them L-shaped because it's like to push in. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you can have a little bit of a wide straddle and still be an L, just as long as your feet are coming down towards the ground. Yeah, because that's what's holding you in the swing. So it's kind of important. Yeah, good. So the idea is you're getting some balance and some arm strength here and practicing for handstands. Good. Yeah. Nice. So that's one of the things I like to do, is kind of play with strength and balance there. So now we're going to reach up and we're going to grab for the leg And there's a different hand position I like to do. You can just hold here, like this, so like bicep curls. So take them out of your legs.
Okay. Like that.
Yeah, so you grab them with your hands, wrap your legs back around.
Like this.
Yeah. We'll come up after just a few minutes because that's intense. So yeah, I want you to do some curls. So remember I said I could show you how to do some belly work.
Mm-hmm.
That was more fun
Mm-hmm.
than regular sit-ups. So I'm gonna do curls
Oh.
at the same time. Swing upside down. We can also straighten the legs and have a little bit of a bigger sit-up going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do some stronger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I need to come back up.
Yeah. So like, hold onto your leg loops and then just slowly bring your legs down.
Okay. Oh, you're starting to feel nauseous. Oh.
It's your body detoxing.
Ah.
So stay in the swing, don't go too far. Let it hold you. Good. Just take a few moments before we do any of the other inversions, because there's a whole another sequence that we're going to do that you're feeling nauseous. We'll move on to, we'll skip that one and go on to the down dogs. We can always come back to the super Fky Snucka.
I actually feel really nauseous.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty common when the body's not used to being upside down.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really good for your system. It's kind of like dumping out an old purse, shaking out all the stuff in the bottom. But yeah, just give it a minute and we got it. Whenever I get nauseous, I wind up just regrounding myself, so you can kind of come to standing.
Yeah. Oh my god. I feel really nauseous. Oh my god. I'm gonna get some water.
Take your time.
I will.
It's really quite powerful to be upside down for the body. We'll do some standing ones until your belly is all settled. So fun. Yeah.
God, it's intense.
Uh-huh.
So nauseous.
I know, we didn't even really do any of the inversions yet. It's so amazing.
Oh.
I'm creating a standing sequence for you.
Cool.
So we don't have to go upside down. Yeah, it's funny when I'm teaching like a 3-hour workshop in this. I'm like, okay, people can be upside down for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You see how I can drag this out so they can get like, you know, a full experience.
Mm.
You can also notice how the swing will kind of traction the muscles on the back.
Mm.
You know?
That's what I love.
Yeah. So you can kind of sit in it at the back and then kind of let it just go up the sides of the spine. Just stretch the whole paraspinals up into the underarms. That feels really good too because it's kind of like in there. So you just tell me when you're ready. You take your time.
Oh.
Thank you. You're welcome.
It's like halfway better.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So you feel ready.
Okay. I'm gonna put cold water on my face.
Yeah, take your time.
Bikram yoga.
Mm.
So I ate lunch like back at like 12:30, and then I had a snack like on my way home.
It's just your body detoxing. It doesn't even matter when you ate, honestly.
It's not that.
Mm-mm.
It's the detox.
Yeah, it's really, really good for your body, but it's so intense at first. I'm just going to show you the Vinyasa move so you have it on tape and
Okay.
you'll be able to do it in your own time. So this is kind of the translation for the Vinyasa flows. So come here, come down, similar to what we were doing before. Press up, and you have to keep your feet down. So this would be the same as doing a Cobra pose.
Gotta take so much pressure off the body to do this.
I love it, but you have to kind of get used to it. It's like you have to catch on fire.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then it's easy. It just has this nice flow to it. And if you're not used to being kind of ungrounded, then it takes a little bit for the body to get used to it. That's all.
Right, yeah, I always get nauseous in yoga when I do camel,
Oh,
you know?
camel.
Yeah, you know? Like,
I was like born upside down and never really went back the other way. So yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Just the reorientation.
Yeah.
So that's good information to know. So that's the Vinyasa flow. And so then we're going to go from Vinyasa flow. We're going to skip this for you too. I'm just going to show you to super Fky Snucka. You hold these in your hands and you come up this way. So this would be more of the balance and the strengthening I was telling you about. So chaturangas, which are challenging if you're balancing a lot of different places. And then these go on the shoulders. You're coming into another Christ consciousness. It's been right here all along.
Yeah.
So onto the elbows. This is Buddha. This is a nice pose for you for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. And you're ready to just kind of chill and drop in. And slowly come up. So what we'll do today is why don't we just do a little bit more of the leg stretching,
Okay.
and then we'll get into some of the forward folds and downward dog when you feel ready. So I want you to use both handles. We're going to face each other. You're doing great. Yeah, those ones. But not those ones are for elbows. Let's use these ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
those handles. Two sets there. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get one leg up there. You got me. And then you just come into a forward fold.
Yeah.
And the elbows are coming straight down, so you have like a bicep curl happening. Yep. Nice. And you can kind of press forward with your tippy toes. Press. So elbows in. Just get into a deeper stretch, and you're also doing some balancing. Nice. You're not going to go anywhere if you lose your balance. So
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah. We're not used to being so supported. So just leaning forward and back a little bit and playing in this space with both stretching and balance. There you go. Good. If you want to be adventurous, you can bring the foot up. You don't have to. This is saying you're not going to go anywhere.
That's right.
But it is fun to swing. Good. And then come into a side stretch again, turning sideways. Hold on with both hands just for balance for now, but normally we would do this, right? A little bit more challenging. And then switch. Center. Other foot. Same other shape. Forward fold. Bicep curl. See if you can keep your arms where they are and release the knee forward. There it is. and the back. And all this stuff is so great on your hips. And let's try turning our foot out. To balance your head. But I always like to just play with the edge of where is my balance. So if I'll come forward and back, but you can stay right in center. Just practice here. Because eventually, you know, it's preparing you to do this, you know, where you get to actually practice on your poses and be fully suspended. And then if you want, swing. So long as you're feeling nauseous.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the border.
Yeah.
Just play it safe.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one I want to do, I'm going to put this behind my back just to get it out of the way. So I'd like for you to just do a big stretch here. I'm going to change my grip where my hands are inside the handles. Does that make sense? So I put them around, I put them around my wrist and then grab. It's just a little bit more comfortable on my wrist. And then I just drop straight down. And actually, come to your knees if you're,
Like that?
yeah, great. And then you just kind of twist a little bit again, side to side. It's really good to hang by your shoulders and your arms to also stretch up a little bit. See if you can get that one little spot open and sticky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I do little circles, I can feel it in the right hip. Let's see what the spot is. I'm empathically experiencing.
Yeah.
So good. And then another way to practice the lunges is here in this space. So you're fully suspended and you can like kind of lift up a little bit. So good, isn't it?
Really good.
So if you ever like get ungrounded, except from any of the poses, you can just switch and come to these standing poses or something. Or be more connected to the ground. So the last one I want to show you is it's called cocoon. The hands kind of expand again. So you can actually expand the swing and come into it. So I don't know if you've been doing any of these, but these are my favorite for Savasana.
Yeah.
So you basically get in and just stretch the swing out as far as you can. Just lengthen it out. And then you can keep your arms kind of crossed over your chest, or you can pull your knees into your chest, or you can bring your legs up like as if your legs were burrito, Rani at the wall. But find like a spot where you can really just drop in and cocoon. And if right now you're feeling a little too woozy to swing, you can kind of come out of it. But if you feel really comfortable here, just let your body totally feel supported and rounded, you know, and drop in. See how that feels. This is a really great way to do like a Shavasana, a little nap or whatever. It like brings us back into the womb.
Yeah, totally.
It's really great for the nervous system.
It's so nice.
Yeah, so there's like a whole like restorative sequence that I do in the cocoon that is like everybody's favorite.
Yeah, that sounds so nice.
Yeah, after doing all the like dynamic stuff, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
just stay here. And it's like your body is fully encapsulated and held, and that's really good. So it's like a whole way of training with it that is much more relaxing and all levels. Some of the stuff we were doing was a little bit more advanced. So.
Yeah.
So 2 minutes just dropping in here.
Okay.
Just finding the sweet spot for both the arms and the legs.
created, so your friend invented